Frieza, Goku and Vegeta knew that they must get even stronger than before. Even though they have gotten almost all their powers back, they must get even stronger. So they decided to master each and every transformation they have achieved up until this point. Yes, they have mastered their regular transformations like Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, 3, and God, but Blue is still on the work. Even though they have achieved much more power in their bodies, they still need to master the power fully. You know, back in the original world, they were able to almost completely master the Super Saiyan Blue transformation alongside their other transformations as well. But they were mostly focused on their techniques and new forms instead of their previous stages, which they realized that was actually their mistake. They didn't actually decide to practically master each and every transformation that they achieved up until this point, so they decided to do that exactly. But we decided to use the time chamber and train inside there. Of course, Kami's help and Pickles as well. But of course, would have gotten stronger and use the time chamber a lot. It was growing incredibly stronger and powerful that he was able to match Goku and his Super power. Of course, Goku and Vegeta would have trained inside a time chamber, and of course would also ask Kami to upgrade so they cannot age inside, and Kami would have done the upgrade quickly so he can get them ready. Goku and Vegeta of course would continue to train inside there, with their power constantly increasing. Goku and Vegeta would have tried to master the Super Saiyan Blue transformation to the full extent, alongside master their other transformations like Blue Evolution and Blue Kaioken. Goku and Vegeta would have spent at least 3 years inside, trying to master each and every transformation, including their Ultra forms. Remember that their Ultra state was the most powerful transformation they had. They decided to practically master their full stages of power. Goku was on the verge of truly unlocking his full power, and Vegeta was on the verge as well. Vegeta is actually trying to achieve a form which he calls True Ultra Ego, which is the form of his Ultra Ego which he has complete mastery over. Of course, it's a complete and perfected version for him, but for Goku, his perfect Master Ultra Instinct is still on the way, with alongside Vegeta's True Ultra Ego. So both of them continue to train. Eventually, after 3 years they spent inside a time chamber, they both were able to increase their powers immensely. Goku can now utilize a higher multiplier of Kaioken up until of a times 45, which increases their powers immensely. But Goku and Vegeta have realized that their gains in power has increased immensely. It may be because they're in the world and they have all their powers. It means that they can increase their powers even faster than they have been before. So they continue to train inside the time chamber and eventually decide to walk out afterwards, spending at least 5 years inside. Of course, they still getting along with their family, with Goku of course trying to raise Gohan so he can be strong and powerful. But of course he does train his brother Raditz. Raditz actually wants to be strong in his own way, so he decides not to take the power of God Ki, but he's trying to focus on trying to achieve the same master over each and every same transformation and not the godly transformation. Of course, Bardock was the same, but he decided to also combine both methods. Goku and Vegeta actually were taking interest in Raditz's path, so they decided to partly agree to it, teaching Raditz all transformations up until Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan 3. Of course, Raditz was able to achieve some of the transformations and grow even stronger. Of course, his power was not as big as Goku or Vegeta's, but he was still strong nonetheless. He was able to achieve Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2 with ease, and eventually he struggled to achieve Super Saiyan 3. It was a much more hard transformation to keep on because of the stamina drain, but with concentrating with both Vegeta and Goku, he was able to achieve it. Of course, he did not master it right away, but he was able to achieve it nonetheless. He also continued to increase his base power, remembering that the transformations grew stronger as he grew stronger himself. So he decided to increase his power in base so he can make his transformation much stronger. While Goku and Vegeta decided to also train Bardock so he can be incredibly strong. Of course, Bardock was trained by Goku and Vegeta and was able to achieve Super Saiyan 2 and even 3 as well, with also achieving Super Saiyan God and Blue as well. Gohan was able to grow him stronger and eventually was able to master Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2 and even achieve Super Saiyan God afterwards, with his power constantly increasing as he continues to increase his power. Goku and Vegeta were happy about the progress that everyone was going at, remembering that if the androids were to come, they would easily defeat them. But little that both of them knew is that because of their battle on Frieza, back on Namek with Frieza, the droids actually got just enough data from them. Because of the intense and bloody battle between the three fighters, the droid was able to gather not only just the DNA of Frieza, but also Goku and Vegeta's, allowing to practically infuse it into Cell, making him have the DNA of the two most powerful warriors in the universe. Of course, both Goku and Vegeta didn't know about that droid had their DNAs in this timeline, so yeah. Goku and Vegeta continued to increase their powers and tried to master their Ultra State. And eventually, Vegeta was able to achieve this new transformation of Ultra Ego, and Goku was able to fully perfect his True Ultra Instinct. With his power, they were mostly stronger than they have ever been before, with both of them being happy about the progress they have made. They also continue to train with everyone. Goku also decides to also train with Gine and to help his mother try to achieve Super Saiyan God. And eventually, after a couple of years, she's able to achieve Super Saiyan God. Of course, she has much more slow progress than almost everyone else, but she's still pretty strong nonetheless. For the rankings of their powers, Goku and Vegeta stand on the top, with of course Gohan being the second in power, Bardock being the third, and of course Rise of Gine reached to a fourth because of them being not strong enough. Of course, Broly does train with everyone else as well, but Goku and Vegeta are focused on training with him. Of course, Raz wants to practically achieve his own power and his own path with the Super Saiyan transformations by utilizing his tail. Since both Goku and Vegeta did not actually cut off his tail, but decided to let him keep it. Of course, it was actually almost the same case with Broly, but Broly already had his tail cut off by Imperius, so they couldn't actually get him to have his tail back because they pondered if he is to go great, humans are going to be a much bigger problem. But with Broly's current power, they believe that they can handle him. So they decided to train Broly. Of course, both and Vegeta knew that Broly's power and potential is immensely and dangerous. So they decided to practically get him to Yajra, with both of them wanting to actually learn the rest of the techniques that Yajra had. And for the next year, they both were trying to control and master the power of Spirit Vision and many other techniques that Yajra had, wanting to practically increase their arsenal of techniques so they can be much more prepared to face off against Zeno. But of course, both Vegeta had the thought of, who was this guy that saved us? Who helped us get back here? He's strange, but we felt like his voice was familiar. We could not understand him, but why was he familiar? Goku thought to himself, but of course Vegeta interrupts him. It isn't what Goku is thinking about. But of course Goku tells him that it's nothing. Vegeta can tell that Goku was thinking about something really deep and asks him if everything is okay. Goku then explains about the thought that he had, and Vegeta confirms that he has the same thought as well. But they should not focus on that. They should focus on getting stronger so they can defeat Zeno and destroy the rest of the gods, believing that the gods are too corrupt. But of course, Goku believes that some of the gods' destruction are not that corrupt, but he believes that Zeno is the one who's corrupted him, since he was probably the one who ruled them. If the gods of destruction were not ruled by Zeno, they most likely would have been pretty destructive to each other. But because of the angels and the Grand Priest himself, almost everything was keeping balance. But Zeno was the one thing that did not balance everything. It was actually the opposite. Which of course, Goku and Vegeta wanted to get stronger, strong enough so they can defeat the guards and eventually defeat Zeno. Knowing that the guards are incredibly strong, they decided to focus on to increase their powers as much as they could. Of course, Goku thought of maybe combining Kaioken with Ultra Instinct, but he remembers that the technique would be too strenuous, so he decided not to do that, believing that the transformation would not be needed, but he still continued to increase his power nonetheless. Eventually, back at Joro's lab, Joro was able to create many androids. Because of the time he spent, and of course with the data he was able to gather from this timeline, Joro was able to create more and more androids, with each of them being stronger than the other. With of course Android 13, Android 15, 16, 14, and of course 17 and 18, alongside 19 as well, and of course more androids were created as well. But of course, Joro also created Cell. Cell's already in its perfect form because of course Joro spent most of his time upgrading Cell himself, while not focusing more on the other androids. He of course made them on the quick view and decided not to bother with it. Of course, most of the androids were incredibly strong, but they're not that much powerful. Of course, Goku and Vegeta would eventually. Also, if you guys are wondering, yes, Goku did use the Dragon Balls because he believed that if Trunks did not appear in the timeline, he wanted to practically be safe and wish for the hard virus to be away. Believing that if the hard virus does appear again, it may be a better idea to practically wish it away than just wait for it, since it will be much more painful. Of course, the Z-Fighters decided to practically search for Joro's lab, and Goku and Vegeta, with their previous alliance memories, they were able to practically get the location of Joro pretty quickly. Of course, Joro is surprised that they were able to find this quickly, and orders his androids to attack them. Of course, all the Z-Fighters will get ready as they start to battle the androids. Bardock will power up into Super Saiyan, and starts to handle most of the androids. With of course Miran's doing the same, alongside Gine and Gohan. Of course, Goku would have faced off against Cell, but they can actually tell that Cell is actually not malicious as their Cell was back then. His presence is actually much more calmer. Of course, they're both confused, but they decided that they must end the Cell as well, believing that he will be a powerful threat. But the Cell is just confused. But he tells them that by his programming, he should kill them both. So let's do this. Of course, Cell rushes at them as both and Vegeta were able to dodge some of the attacks, but they're both pretty surprised at Cell's speed because his speed is incredibly impressive, but not impressive enough. Well, Goku and Vegeta power up to Super Saiyan Blue, and they were easily able to overpower Cell. But Cell was actually starting to adapt. Because it does not unlock the full power of Goku and Vegeta's DNA, Cell is starting to adapt and actually grew stronger as he continued to battle. Of course, Cell did not possess the DNA of Broly, but he had the data of Broly, which is just enough for him to adapt with Goku and Vegeta's fighting style. Of course, this continued to go on as Cell continued to grow stronger and stronger. Eventually, he was able to grow even stronger, and eventually, he was starting to show glimpses of Ultra Instinct. Goku and Vegeta were in shock, but they knew that they must defeat Cell at all costs. Of course, Cell would have, of course, beaten down some of the other Z-Fighters. As, of course, Bardock would have seen this, he saw his wife Gina being on the verge of death. This, of course, was starting to get Bardock angry as he would roar. His roar shaking the entire planet as Goku and Vegeta would look to his direction, surprised as Bardock achieved a new form. Bardock combined the power of the Great Ape and Super Saiyan form together. It was something of a Super Saiyan 4, but slightly different. It was a form that no other Saiyan has achieved up until this point, being Primal Super Saiyan 4. This version of a Super Saiyan 4 is much stronger because it's infused with the powerful energy of a Saiyan Rage. Gohan also achieved a new form, being his Beast state. With this form, Gohan was now even stronger than ever before. Vegeta and Goku were pretty surprised, but they were happy that their friends were able to achieve new power. Goku was of course proud of Gohan to see that he's grown stronger and much more powerful as well. Of course, Goku and Vegeta decided to go all out. With Goku powering up into his Kaioken times 45 and Vegeta powering up to Blue Evolution to face off against Cell. So of course we'll start to get on the back foot, but back on Beerus' plan, both Beerus and Whis would have watched the battle, being pretty impressed that the androids can actually keep up with those two mortals. But eventually, Cell was shown his new power. As of course both Goku and Vegeta will be in shock as they see Cell's power. And Cell will power up to his own Ultra Instinct. It was surprised both Goku and Vegeta as he realized that Cell was now growing even stronger. Both Goku and Vegeta realized that they must go all out. Vegeta will power up into his perfected Blue Evolution, and Goku will power up into Kaioken times 45, with his maximum being 50 as he increased to that maximum. Both of them will start to battle Cell, and Cell was able to handle both of them at the same time, so he having no difficulty while doing so. This of course surprised both Beerus and Whis, and Cell was able to keep up with the most powerful mortals they have ever seen before. Even Beerus believed that if Cell continued to live, he would also become even stronger than Whis, which is much a really bad thing, so they must not let Cell live. Of course, back on planet Earth, Goku and Vegeta continued to battle Cell, as Cell was easily able to beat down on them. Goku and Vegeta decided to power up even more, he's powered to the Ultra forms. Powered up to the strongest Ultra form, Vegeta powers up into his true Ultra Ego, and Goku powers up to his true Master Perfected Ultra Instinct. With this form, of course, both of them decided to face off against Cell, but it was still not enough to overpower the android. With the android's power being much more higher than both of them, they both were overpowered by Cell, and eventually on the verge of death. Both of them were without any energy left as they damned themselves. They are not strong enough to even defeat this version of Cell. They now realize their mistakes. They let their guard down back on Namek. If they had not done that, then Major wouldn't have had their DNAs. But either way, this is bad. If they don't stop Cell right here and now, he most likely would destroy the entire planet. Before they can say anything or else, Broly appears and asks everyone, "Is this all you had in the entire fun without me, huh? I guess I shouldn't let you all guys have all the fun without me, without training, huh?" But of course, was a surprising presence to everyone else, except Broly and Vegeta, as he will smile slightly. Be happy to see Broly. Broly of course will tell him that it's time for him to show his power, and of course Broly starts to roar as he will then power up. Power to his legendary Super Saiyan form, which was infused with God Ki thanks to Goku and Vegeta's training. They actually want Broly to go on Yara so he can achieve his own variation of God Ki. Of course, Goku and Vegeta did help Broly to harness God Ki slightly so he can increase control over his Super Saiyan transformations. And he was able to achieve master over each transformation, including his legendary Super Saiyan form, which made it much more better. Of course, Cell was incredibly impressed by Broly's power, and Goku and Vegeta begin to faint. Because their energy exhaustion was too much for their bodies to even handle, they both collapsed to the ground, sitting without any energy or strength to left, while everyone else was actually killed by Cell and absorbed as well, with Cell's power increasing as he fights against Broly, with both Broly and Cell's battle beginning as the clash between the most powerful beings will start to begin. But this is the end for this part, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Sayonara.